Hello everyone and welcome back to Alternative Apex Formula Equal here for the 18th round of 24 in 2025. We are getting ever closer to the end of this season and well, the championship is also very close. With Norris and Verstappen the main contenders at this point of the season, it's very much looking like it'll be a duel between those two drivers, with the drivers behind really not able to find the consistency required to fight with those two drivers, with 12 and 11 podiums respectively. Verstappen's 8 wins is the most of anyone, Norris with just 2, but still keeping himself just about in this title fight. Let's see if he can keep up a recent sort of slight recovery that he's been having over Max Verstappen here today. So let's have a look at the starting grid for today's race. And it is Lando Norris on pole with Fernando Alonso alongside him on the front row. Lando Norris there with a very important pole position if he wishes to keep this title fight alive. On the second row, it's all Ferrari with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen in 5th place there, not too far behind his rival Ocon just behind him. Alexander Albon and Jack Doohan on row 4, Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri on row 5. It's all Racing Bulls on row 6, Hadjar ahead of Lawson with Oliver Behrman and Pierre Gasly behind them. Nico Hülkenberg and George Russell with a disappointing qualifying there in 16th, Gabriel Bortoleto and Franco Colapinto making it the 9th row. And the final few places on the grid go to Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Carlos Sainz and the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. So Max Verstappen heads here as the championship leader still, with 7 races left including this one. Lando Norris needs to score big here today, and starting from pole position gives him the perfect opportunity to do just that. He's actually not even this driver with the second most wins this season, with Lewis Hamilton's tally of 3 wins better than Norris's 2. So that really just goes to show how consistent Norris has been. He does have the most podiums of anyone this season with 12. The next best being Verstappen with 11, and there's a massive jump down to the next best, which is George Russell down with 6. So it really shows you how those top 2 drivers have sort of broken their way clear in terms of consistency. But in terms of wins, the only driver this season who has been a league above has been Max Verstappen. So that is the area where Lando Norris really needs to improve. And perhaps today, starting from pole position, that is exactly what he can do. The 5 red lights are coming on then, and we are getting ready to go racing. And we are racing in Singapore there, and it's a strong start from Lando Norris on pole position. He immediately sweeps across the front of Fernando Alonso, as that's Lewis Hamilton looking to the outside of the Aston Martin driver through turns 2 and 3 now. The field 2 by 2 behind the race leader Lando Norris, cruising out front for now, as Lewis Hamilton is trying to make his way past his old rival and long time ago former teammate Fernando Alonso out at turn number 4 now, and up towards the long DRS zone. Of course, DRS not enabled on lap 1 here, but it still will be an overtaking opportunity for Lewis Hamilton as he gets squeezed almost into the wall there, and into the braking zone they slam them on, and it is Alonso who just holds on to that position there. The 2 Ferraris in 3rd and 4th at the moment. Spoke a lot about the Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors' Championship as well is very much alive, with 3 teams all in the mix of that, Ferrari, McLaren and Red Bull. So at the moment, with their positions in 3rd and 4th, Ferrari looking good here as we've got a battle between Oliver Behrman and I believe that's the Alpine of Pierre Gasly. Behrman and Hadjar, both the only 2 drivers yet to score this season, running 12th and 13th. Could today be the day that they manage to do it? This could be their best chance for a while, as this track does tend to bring up a little bit of drama. As now we see this is Alexander Albon with Oscar Piastri in his slipstream. The McLaren driver knows how important it is to try and make his way up the order after getting just his 2nd podium of the season there last time out, as he gets nearly squeezed into the wall. Just about makes the pass there on the Williams driver. But after getting only his 2nd podium of the season last time out in Azerbaijan, he is looking to try and add to his tally at least of some solid points here today, as now we see Tsunoda, another one of the 2nd drivers in need of a good result today. He's going to the outside of Albon just like Piastri did. Can he do the exact same move? He can indeed. Copy, paste, lovely stuff there from Yuki Tsunoda, who makes his way up into 9th position now, as Albon now drops down to P10 after having a strong start to this Grand Prix. Looking back towards the front of the field though, the 2 Ferraris are awfully close here in the DRS. It's Charles Leclerc. Can he make a move? He's going to go to the outside of his teammate here as they head into turn number 6 and go all the way around that side, but not quite able to pull off just as easily as the others. Hamilton is fighting back around the outside. Can he keep his nose in there? Not quite able to do it on corner exit. He slots in behind, as meanwhile Tsunoda has lost that position to Albon now. So Albon fighting back in this group that are fighting over the last couple of positions in the points. And now as We see Max Verstappen now on the back of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is struggling there as it's a massive moment for Max Verstappen. He just about holds on to it though, and not only does he hold on to the car, he's going to make the move as well. Max Verstappen knowing what he needs to do here today, and even if he can't win it, just to get a strong result will be enough to keep himself at the top of the championship here today. And currently in 4th place is not too bad, up 1 position from his starting spot as Charles Leclerc is making his way towards the pit lane now. The first of our leading drivers to come into the pits. It is Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari. Let's see what his rivals do there. Norris, we've known this season, has tended to go a little bit longer in these races, and it looked like Piastri was coming in that lap. Behrman now coming through turn number 1, and he's had another spin. It's another issue now for a Haas car this season. We've seen this a few times already. Oliver Behrman with an issue there in turn 1 on a day where it looked like he may just have been able to get into the points. It's a spin through turn 1, he keeps it going though. No need for a safety car, and we continue to race on here as now we see towards the pit lane. It is Lewis Hamilton making his way in now. He lost a lot of time at the end of that stint. I would imagine he's going to get quite badly undercut here by his teammate as Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen are all still staying out there at the front of the field. Perhaps a split of strategies here between these top teams at the moment in this one, as Lewis Hamilton is going to come out the pit lane. Charles Leclerc is already ahead of him here as Hamilton makes his way down the pit exit. Esteban Ocon might actually be close here as well, and Ocon, as they head into the next corner, will be ahead there in his Haas car. So Lewis Hamilton going a bit too long there on that stint, and it's clearly paid the price because Charles Leclerc is way ahead now. As on lap 8 of 16, we reached the halfway point, and finally Lando Norris pits from the lead of this race, perhaps covering off Charles Leclerc's undercut there. He brings his McLaren down pit lane. Fernando Alonso now takes over the lead. Verstappen also into the pits behind him. So both of the title contenders mirroring each other at this time. Will Norris be able to get out ahead of Verstappen? Not quite able to, as they sort of cross over there on the pit exit, sort of exit of one box, entry of the other. Norris now leaves the pit lane, and down the pit exit road he goes. Charles Leclerc, where is he? He comes through turn 1. Verstappen is just behind him there, and it is Norris that will still stay in the lead. Charles Leclerc in second now. Verstappen, of course, these were net positions in 3rd place ahead of Ocon for now. Piastri up into 11th place, meanwhile, just outside of the points. As now, finally, Fernando Alonso is going to bring his Aston Martin down pit lane. Alonso, yet to get a win this season, has 3 podiums to his name, though. Could today be the day? He's doing a different strategy. He's gone longer. I imagine that means he's probably going to come out behind quite a lot of the cars that he was racing around for that first stint. The likes of Leclerc, Verstappen, maybe even Ocon and Hamilton could be able to jump Alonso in this pit cycle. But if Alonso's got those fresh tyres at the end, perhaps around a track like this, where fresh tyres are so important, that could be the difference he needed to take the fight to Lando Norris at the front now, as we see him leaving the pits, and there goes Lando Norris back to the lead. Charles Leclerc looks as though he's going to get him as well there. Can Fernando Alonso come out in 3rd? It looks like he will do just that there. Verstappen got a bit of a margin there to the top couple of cars. Ocon in 5th. Now with Lewis Hamilton in 6th. Jack Doohan's having a strong drive here in 7th place ahead of Oscar Piastri. Albon ahead of Tsunoda once more here. Tsunoda currently holding on to the final points paying position, with Pierre Gasly down in 11th at this stage. As now we see that is Oscar Piastri on the back of Jack Doohan as they head down this straight. Doohan hasn't got many points to his name there, and again we're seeing drivers with some interesting line through that in the corner there. Turn number 5. Oscar Piastri though gets the move done on his fellow Australian and up into 7th place. And now has a bit of a gap ahead of him to try and push forward. As next up to look at the back of Jack Doohan, it is Alexander Albon as they head towards turn 1. We haven't seen many moves here yet today. Albon's going to stick his nose down the inside. It's a bolder one. Can he keep alongside here as they head into turn 3? Behind them, Yuki Tsunoda loving this season opportunity to try and make a pass or two here. These two drivers still side by side. Jack Doohan knows any points will be an improvement for his season so far, and he now has the Red Bull in his mirrors as Albon makes that place up. But will the DRS for Doohan be enough for him to fight back at the Williams driver? He's going to have a look at it here as they head into turn number 6, and he's not quite able to make it happen there. So it is Doohan behind Albon for now, at least. Tsunoda is in that group, as well as we've got battling that is the Mercedes of George Russell on the inside of Isaac Hadjar, battling their way through the field. George Russell, as they mentioned in the build-up, with the 3rd most podiums this season, but I have a feeling today will not be adding to that collection as he battles for 13th place. And now as we look back towards the front of the field, Fernando Alonso on those much fresher tyres than Charles Leclerc has got the DRS, has got the slipstream. He's going to go to the outside, and can he make the move stick? It looks like he will, but Charles Leclerc trying his best to keep his nose in. He's not able to do it. Fernando Alonso on those harder tyres as well there, with a little bit more grip as the temperatures start to rise here, despite it being at night, this track known for its high temperatures. We've got a battle there. Doohan in with Yuki Tsunoda there just behind him. And looking to try and make the pass again now. Yuki Tsunoda in the DRS trying to make the same move that so many drivers have made today around the outside, using the extra grip if you have it to use, and he does indeed. He makes the move. He's into 9th place there. Yuki Tsunoda up into 9th. 2 points would be going his way if he does stay in that position. As back towards the front of the field, Lando Norris is leading the way, but Fernando Alonso is in his slipstream. He will get DRS as they head towards the final few corners of this race. Lando Norris, however, looks as though he has this one just about in control as he looks to try and take this championship fight back to Max Verstappen. They head through the final chicane for the final time. Just one corner remains for Lando Norris, and as he makes his way around it, McLaren and Norris can be happy once more. They win for the 3rd time this season. Lando Norris back on the top step. It's been a while. Fernando Alonso gets an incredible 2nd place there, and wow, maybe with a lap more, he could have taken that one away from McLaren, but McLaren will be very happy that that race was the length it was, as Lando Norris takes just his 3rd victory of the season, his 13th podium, and with Verstappen finishing off the podium, that is a good chunk of points that will be going the way of the McLaren driver here, as he looks to try and get back into this title fight. This is a good chance for him to build on some momentum after Verstappen's recent struggles. Could this be the chance Lando Norris needs to really start to win this championship fight once again? Still, obviously, Verstappen that leads the way for now, but this could change soon if Lando Norris continues this current form. In 2nd place, Fernando Alonso, very impressive from him. Of course, the oldest driver on the grid takes his 4th podium of the season. Shouldn't be too disappointed with that, although it looks like the top 5 in the championship may well be out of reach for the Spaniard. Still 6th place, sort of middle of nowhere in the championship at the moment this season. Perhaps that is still a strong result for the Spaniard. As Charles Leclerc also on the podium there, after his 1st win of the season last time out in Baku. Let's see, can he build on this form? It's hard to really call it form when we've seen Charles Leclerc's season so far. It has been a rollercoaster ride, so who knows what we can expect to see from him next time out. So here we have the official results then for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's Lando Norris who takes the victory with fastest lap there. Fernando Alonso in 2nd, oh so close at the finish there. Charles Leclerc in 3rd. Max Verstappen in 4th. Loses 13 points to his title rival today. Not what he would have wanted. Esteban Ocon with a strong 5th there for the Haas team. We have Lewis Hamilton dropping back to 6th after some unusual strategy choice, I think it's fair to say, there from the Ferrari team. Oscar Piastri in 7th ahead of Alexander Albon. Yuki Tsunoda in 9th place, with Jack Doohan taking another point to add to his tally. Just missing out on the points in that race were Pierre Gasly, Liam Lawson, George Russell and Isaac Hadjar. And that is an incredible 4 drivers that are just missing out on points there. You've got a race winner, a race winner, a race winner, and someone that hasn't scored any points this season. So really shows you how this season can sort of change as the season has gone on. In the Drivers' Championship, it is Max Verstappen, of course, that still leads the way, but now by only 29 points. Whilst it may still seem like a big margin, it has to be said now, getting closer to being under a single Grand Prix victory, and I think considering the margin was over 50 points at one stage, if Norris can take this one to Abu Dhabi, that would be an achievement in its own right there. As Lewis Hamilton still holds on to 3rd in the championship for now, ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc, but it is quite close there. George Russell, a disappointing day today. That does bring Fernando Alonso back in touch with him for that 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. Behind them, you have Oscar Piastri for McLaren, just ahead of Pierre Gasly. Yuki Tsunoda in at 9th, with Carlos Sainz currently sitting 10th in the championship so far this season. Behind him, you have Liam Lawson, Esteban Ocon, Alexander Albon, Nico Hülkenberg, Lance Stroll, Gabriel Bortoleto, Jack Doohan there doesn't move a position despite getting his point here today. Andrea Kimi Antonelli in 18th place, with Franco Colapinto currently the last driver in the championship to have scored any points this season, with of course Isaac Hadjar and Oliver Behrman still yet to score this season. Could that spin today of Behrman's really hurt him in this season, or will he be able to bounce back next time out? We will have to just wait and see. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull still lead the way, but McLaren are absolutely slicing their way into that lead with a now 16-point gap between the top 2 teams. Ferrari, 42 points off the lead, but again, at times this season they have seemed to be the stronger of the team. So if they can just get things right, you have to imagine Ferrari can get right into this title fight. Mercedes, meanwhile, are just barely holding on to that 4th place in the Constructors, as Aston Martin find themselves now just 8 points behind, and Williams at times this season have shown the real speed to get in that mix as well, so don't count them out just yet. And Alpine, of course, they've won a race this season. Could they get in the mix for that 4th place in the Constructors? Lots of teams there, all with a chance at taking that position, and the same goes, of course, for the very top position, Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari, who will come out on top in that fight. that is it then for the Singapore Grand Prix. I do hope you all enjoyed that one. Lando Norris giving us hope for a title fight that could go all the way. One thing that I think we can almost guarantee at this stage is that the Constructors will go all the way indeed, with how close that has been so far this season. Next time out, we are going to the Circuit of the Americas for the American Grand Prix, where there is rain in the forecast, so do make sure to join us again in a week's time. That is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.